Dharma journey, Meral. So good to have you on.
Thank you. So excited.
Meral is a transformational and negotiation coach in Holland, in the Netherlands. And yeah, I know we have a lot of Dutch listeners on the podcast, so I thought I'd get her on. She's a powerhouse. She's a Capricorn like me, and she's just growing so much. And I love the way that you're so authentic with your posts and your sharing. Like you shared something today about the things that you've been going through personally, and it really touched me. And I think so many women can relate to that in business and in life. So yeah, today we'll probably share a little bit about your journey into your dharma, your purpose, and also why women struggle so much with self-worth and really asking for what we're worth. And I think that's something I know I struggle with still, and I know a lot of other people struggle with, especially women. I think. I mean, some men do as well, but yeah, I know that's something like for me in my life, like starting my own business and having to put my own prices and having that kind of like fear of rejection and fear of not being good enough, and all of those things that we experience, I think really holds us back from really receiving abundance and experiences and upgrades, even in all areas of life, not just business. So maybe you can share a little bit about your journey. How where did you come from? Because I know you did a completely different job. I think you were a lawyer or something before you started this job.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
you can share about that. I would love to know a bit
Yeah.
about
Well, how
history.
I got into this whole negotiation coaching and transformation coaching now. Well, I think it's something that has been there my whole life. So I remember when I was younger, I was a year or like let's say 7 years old. I remember that I would go around the houses to get signatures against bullfighting in Spain because I always had this idea that you can make a change as an individual, and I also thought that you can always stand up for your rights and you can change rights. So the idea of equality, standing up for your rights, knowing what your words change has been in me forever. So when I was 10, I decided to never eat meat again, to become a vegetarian in a family where everyone was eating everything. But like, so that's now 24 years ago because I'm 34. I decided just like this, I'm not going to eat meat again because I saw some things on television and I just went for it, and that was one of the best decisions ever. So when I was 18 years old, I decided to go to law school because standing up for my rights, other rights, but also animal rights was just, I don't know, just in my core. And you know what was my biggest dream when I was younger? And maybe it's still my dream, that I have to go to jail because I'm standing up for rights, and that I will be in the newspaper everywhere. Since I'm a young girl, I see myself like seriously, the old school picture where you see a jail, where you see the fence, and I'm just there because I stood up for animal rights or human rights. So that whole idea has just been in me, and that's why I'm also a little bit provocative, and I'm trying to see what are the boundaries, where can I go, where can I not go, where can I push, where can I change. So I graduated from law school, worked as a lawyer for a couple of months. But yeah, if you have a Dutch law degree, you can only work in the Netherlands. And I don't know, I just wanted to explore the world and yeah, meet new people, new cultures, new countries, new food. And yeah, I really wanted to live abroad as well. So that's when I um, got a new job. I offered a new job as an international business consultant in an
Ooh.
IT firm in banking. So I went this whole, corporate life, also coming with the law background, of course. And I worked 4 years for the North American market, and I moved to Toronto, Canada, and I learned a lot there. And what I learned as well is to stand up for my own rights, and especially negotiating. So I remember that I got my first contract, right? Like, well, you're going to get this job, and they made me an offer, and I was like, okay, this is great, but this is not, what I want. So I did my research, checked my market value, and I just did a counter proposal, a counter offer, and a lot of people don't do that. I've always done that. My first jobs, every job, and it got accepted, and that's what I've been doing the whole 4 years that I was working as a consultant. I was finding out what was my value, what was my worth, and I would negotiate. And that's where I came up with my own method. And after 4 years, I realized, like, okay, what happened to that young girl that was so passionate about life, about nature, really connected with nature and animals and standing up for human rights? What happened to her in that corporate life, right? Because it's really easy to just, you know, go to your work those 9 to 5 hours or 9 to 9 hours, 5 days a week. And I realized there's so much more, and I had to quit. Everything in me felt like I have to quit. I have to get back to my roots. I love your name, by the way. Back to the roots is just awesome. But it's so true, right? Going back to the roots, to who I really am and why I'm here. And yeah, so 3 years ago, I quit my job, moved to the Netherlands, hired a business coach. We sat down and said, where's the world? What does the world need? Where are you good at? And where can you make money in? So what's your superpower? And I thought, it's negotiating. It's standing up for my own rights, but it's also helping other people to standing up for their rights. And that's how my company, Blackbird Negotiations, was born. And to even break more with the whole corporate culture, I moved to Bali. So I lived there for a year and started my company there. I was doing yoga, surfing. I did a mindfulness course over there. I connected back to nature, animals, the sea. Yeah, and that brought me back to Amsterdam where I'm living now. So that's like the long story short.
Yeah. I love it. You're very good at speaking. I know you do a lot of speaking events as well, and I see it a lot of myself in you. I'm like, I always say to my partner Jord, obviously you guys know each other, and I'm always like, she's so cool, like she's such a powerhouse, like, and I really respect that. You know, you just got that balls, the attitude to just go out and get it, even if you get, rejected or turned down. And I think that's
Totally.
a
Yeah.
bit of the process, isn't it? Like, do you have
Yeah.
you been rejected quite a lot of times, or?
Um, have I been? That's such a good question, though. Um, You know what's funny? I would say no, but that's mostly because most probably I don't see it as rejection, because that's the same as when people ask me, do you regret certain things? And I don't. So those questions are really tough for me to answer. So most probably in life I didn't get what I want, but I
Mm.
got something better. And I just know you know what I mean, right? So I totally even forget what it was. But if I make it more concrete, yeah, of course, sometimes I've had tough conversations when I wanted to get a raise or when I wanted to get a certain job, which I didn't get. Yeah, but in the end, I always got something better.
Wow. And that's a really pivotal thing, like negotiating your worth is when you really believe you're worthy of it, you're gonna,
Totally.
I guess, manifest or attract or embody the experience that you deserve. I think that's such a beautiful thing. And but I know so many women that are out there that maybe, like, they do all these like self-care practices, maybe they work with someone or whatever, and they still struggle, like especially in this entrepreneurial space, they're kind of growing a
Yeah.
business and they struggle to get clients, and maybe they're not fully, they don't fully know their worth yet because they're in that beginning journey. Do you have any like advice, or like if you had any clients in a similar position, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, totally. Well, because this is something that I recognize and that I also recognize in a lot of my clients, right? But the number one thing, seriously, and it sounds so easy, but it's really like the basic thing is you have to believe in your own worth. Like you need to realize, like, what are you bringing to the table? And once you feel that, you almost cannot get a rejection, because I always say you only have three outcomes when you negotiate. You get what you want. Secondly, you don't get what you want, but you know what you have to do to get it, because in that conversation, you know why you didn't get it. So you know that maybe in 3 to 6 months or in half a year, you can get that certain amount of money that you want. And then you have the third one, like you don't get what you want. And then I always say, but you have a plan B, which means you get something better, because you also have to realize, like, do you want to work with a client, or do you want to work for a company that's not respecting your worth? And
Mm.
I believe that it's mirroring yourself, because you don't 100% believe that you are worth it. So that's where it really starts. And how do you really start to believe in your worth? That is really just by taking these little steps in trying. And I always recommend my clients, so maybe the people who are listening now, just grab a piece of paper and write down all the things that you've been doing in the last 6 months that made you valuable to your clients or to your employer. Like, I
Mm,
think a lot of times we don't realize how good we are, and
mm,
especially how much we are bringing to the table. And we are all unique. Like, a lot of people graduate, like, right? Like, we graduate from high school, we graduate maybe from university, or you get a different degree, but that's not where you differentiate.
mm,
Not based on that. You differentiate on the person you are, your personality, the way you speak, the way you are in groups, the way your energy. It's so much more. A lot of my clients say, I'm going to ask this price when I have this degree. Oh, I have to do another coaching certification. Oh, I have to get another this. To be honest, I don't have any. I don't have any. Do you? Do you have a coaching degree?
No, I mean,
No.
Ayurvedic lifestyle like practitioner course, but I
Yeah.
think the most coaching I've got is from my boyfriend. Like I've just been learning from him.
Yeah, but for me that's the same. I have my law degree and that's it. And I remember, this is a good example. I remember when I started as a negotiation coach that I had this idea as well that I needed to have a certification, but that was also because my dad was telling me, the older generation, how can you be a negotiation expert? You're not a professor, you didn't get a PhD, like. And I was really triggered by that, right? That's the older generation. My dad is a lawyer, it's a different generation. And I was like, wow, no. And I had this discussion with him. We just came back from a run and we were sitting outside. I was like, no, I don't agree. Maybe with the word expert, yes, because I'm only maybe now negotiation coach for a year. But totally, if I can help other people because I have the certain tools and experiences, I'm a negotiation coach, Dad. And I don't have to be a PhD or a professor, or when I'm 50 I'm going to do this. No, you totally don't do this. As soon as you can teach other people, you can learn. You're so much value to others, right? Like,
Mm,
yeah. And I remember that I really wanted to get the Harvard Law degree for negotiations because I thought that would be, better, then I could be a better coach. But to be honest, there's no better way of showing that you're a good coach by having really happy clients,
mm.
right?
Oh my God, so yeah. And I that really hits me. Is like sometimes we have to hear over and over again how much we've changed someone's life or their health to really be
Yeah,
like, oh, I'm actually doing a good job. And for me, I still like forget it. And I get, remember when I like listen to back to a testimonial or someone reaches out and it just gives me that kind of like motivation that I need to be like, oh yeah, I am good. Thanks for reminding me. Because I think we so
yeah,
often compare. Like I know in my experience, I compare myself to people that are have been doing my job or something similar that are probably like 5 or 10 years ahead and I'm like, oh, I'm not
yeah,
there yet, like I haven't done my online course, like I haven't got this and I haven't got that. And then that's
totally.
coming from that place of lack, which then it doesn't bring in that abundance when we're coming from that place of not feeling good enough.
Totally. Yeah, and the thing of, wow, you hit the right thing, right? With comparing, because nowadays with Instagram and the new app Clubhouse, are you already on Clubhouse? Because now is the time to grow big. Oh, you can even feel
What's
that
Clubhouse?
anxiety, right? Oh, you don't know Clubhouse
No,
yet?
I'm out of it.
Oh my God. Oh, shit, did I start something?
I live in
Well,
Bali, I'm kind of
Clubhouse.
like in the sticks.
Yeah, okay. So Clubhouse is this new app. It's an audio only app. It's coming from the US and it's getting big in the US already, and now it's spread its words to the Netherlands, and it's just Clubhouse. Yeah, but
It
it's
sounds like
another
a
thing.
stripper. It sounds like a stripper joint.
Clubhouse, yeah, totally. But it's not. But you know what's really awesome? You can just enter a room. They call it rooms where people are speaking. So it is without video. They choose a certain topic and you can connect with everyone. So
Oh
you
wow.
can talk to, let's say, for example, Jay Shetty, who's a monk, right? And I've been following this guy for such a long time and I find him really inspiring.
Yeah.
And if you raise your hand, like automatically, you can speak to him and ask direct questions, and it's for free. And there's like a shitload of information, but it's also the overwhelm, what you were saying, right? Like comparing.
Mm,
You compare yourself to, oh my God, people are on Clubhouse now and they're getting a lot of followers there. Should I jump in?
yeah.
Or, oh, they are on Instagram and they are 5 to 10 years ahead, but wow, I
Really
sometimes have
deep
to tell
talk.
myself as well to just slow down and, do it my way. Seriously, like same as you, right? You're doing so awesome. And, it's because you are doing your way and not by doing the same thing. Because I really think human beings are awesome and people choose a coach based on their personality and not only through their knowledge, because a lot of people have knowledge. I say a lot of times when I tell about negotiations, okay, this glass is right, like it's like an off the shelf product, and it's, you cannot say, okay, I sell this one for €2 and another day you sell it for 5, or like your competitors most probably not going to sell it for 5 if it's everywhere for 2, because it's everywhere the same. But you, like, you with all your knowledge, you live in Bali, and all your experiences make you so unique, and that's why you can price yourself also in a certain way, and you cannot even compare yourself to
Mm,
someone else, to their knowledge, to their price,
mm.
because there's no competition in that sense.
Yeah, I feel it's funny when I remember like the first start stages when I started like coaching people and getting them to a space where they start to become a coach. A lot of the women that I work
Yeah,
with, they come to me with like a health issue, like digestion, skin, energy, or whatever it is. And a lot of the time, I believe the thing that's helped us overcome our limitation, whether it be health or mindset or work or whatever tool we've used that's helped us, we naturally sometimes want to share that with others. And I
yeah,
remember like all these people like that I've worked with that now want to do like not necessarily just Ayurvedic coaching but other kinds of coaching and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, there's not going to be enough people in the world like
oh
to
yeah,
come to me. And then I realized like, Brian, that's such a lack mentality. Like there's so many people in the world. But it's funny how like that fear, that scarcity can come up. And I know a lot of my
totally.
girlfriends had it like, oh, there won't be enough for me. And I realize that's such bullshit now. Like, I really had to overcome so much of my own, limitations in my mind just to realize that, yeah, like you said, we're all so unique and we all have something so beautiful to offer, which I think is really powerful. And I would love to, because I just heard you say that your dad was a lawyer, and it kind of sparked something for me because my mom was an actress and I went to acting school, and I really believe there's a saying like it's better to do your dharma imperfectly than somebody else's dharma perfectly. So it's better to
Oh
do somebody else's
yeah,
dharma. You're gonna basically, and a lot of the time I see with my clients like because they're doing a job or they're in a relationship or something that's not fully actualizing their potential, like they're stuck in some level, that normally will manifest as a physical symptom, like a health issue. So a lot of the root cause of people's issues is because they're not living in alignment with their true purpose. And I know for myself, like I was following in my mom's footsteps, like I'm going to be an actress because she was an actress. Was that the same
yeah.
for you with your dad being a lawyer, or is it different?
Yeah, most probably. It's always hard to say, but you know that you are 50% of your mom and 50% of your dad. And it's the whole nature nurture discussion. And I grew up seeing my dad being a lawyer. So yeah, I'm totally influenced by my dad. And then I also remember that I think 3 years ago he sold his company, and it is also a beautiful building in Rotterdam. And he has always said that his biggest dream was that I was taking over his company.
Oh,
Oh yeah, and that was painful because I didn't want to. Yeah, I
yeah.
didn't want to, but I sort of like felt somewhere that I wanted to do it for my dad. And yeah, so when he sold the company 3 years ago, I felt a little bit sad, and that really is really good to find out why it feels sad. But it's really something you're saying, because it's his dream, but it's not mine, right? Like, and it's also not my purpose. And I think if I would go back, I would totally again choose law school, because I think it's a great study. I really enjoyed it. I know what my rights are. I know that I can stand up for my rights. I love it that I can go to court if I want to, because I really love that. And that's totally not needed. But yeah, it totally comes from my dad. Yeah. And
Mm,
you know what's funny? My mom has always worked in fashion. And then when I decided what to do, I remember that I went to have a look at art school to do a fashion degree, and I went to law school to have a look, and then I chose for law. So of course I'm totally influenced by my parents, and my
Yeah.
dad is this lawyer who doesn't believe in anything that's connected spirit and energy. And then I have this really sensitive mom who's connected with nature, and who is a Reiki master. So I grew
Is
up with
she?
Reiki.
Oh,
Yeah, she is. So
wow. Love
I
it.
have total these two dualities in my life. This sensitive nature woman, and then this corporate lawyer side that doesn't believe anything, and that's totally clashing. That's me,
Wow. Are they
totally
still together?
opposite. No, they're not together anymore. No, 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 no. It was
Different.
it was a good match for like it was a good match for 30 years, but after 30 years they're not together anymore. But
Oh.
it's good as how it is.
Yeah, of course. And it's funny
Yeah.
how, like, for anyone listening that might resonate, like, how we are influenced by our parents and our culture to
Yeah.
kind of do the same thing. And
Totally.
it's like, why we get so stuck in this, like, this box of like, and I think that's what I think you're really promoting as well. It's like, once we feel confident enough in our own ability, whatever that may be, it could be working at a corporate or it could be an entrepreneur, whatever
Yeah.
lights you up, we realize that we don't always have to take the same path as everyone else. And I think that's the big, the piece that you're on as well, is like taking that unknown path. And now you've just obviously launched a transformational nest. Maybe you can share a little bit about that. I know I think it's in Dutch, isn't it? But
Yeah, it's in Dutch now, but for now I've been sharing it in English on my Instagram as well. But yeah, it will be in Dutch. So over the last years, let's say that over the last years, I felt that only negotiating, or let's help women with negotiating, was not enough, because we were discussing already, it's so much more than negotiating. It's about self-worth, standing up for your rights, believing in yourself, and following in your own journey. So I was helping people already so much more than just negotiating. And I felt like, oh, I want to help women on a more impactful way. And I certainly want to help them to just break free from the societal norms, the family you grow up in, the country you live, the study you do, your family, even your friends. Like, a lot of times we're scared to do things differently because we are seen as a certain person, a person can change and they can grow, and sometimes it means you even have to change your surroundings, right? Like, that's what I've learned from your boyfriend, who used to be my coach, who's awesome.
yeah.
And yeah, so all this came together, and I thought I have to do more. And you know what the funny thing is? I just sat down for a month. I didn't go to my office anymore. I sat here, exactly here where we're sitting now, in the sun, by myself. I was just quiet, and I was thinking, what do I really want to do now? How do I want to help other women? And then this whole transformation nest was just born. I have a whiteboard here in my room, and it just has 10 modules. And the idea is to help women to live life on their terms.
Mm,
So some are in are freelancers, some are employees, but they all want to spread their wings, right? They want to do something bigger. They want to spread their wings. They want to go on the spiritual path, or they finally want to write that book, or become a motivational speaker, or
mm,
anything that they really want. Because seriously, if you really talk to people and look at them and you ask them, what do you really want, like you really want, they know what they want, but
yeah.
they're still scared. And
Well,
that's
they
what
know what
I'm
they
going.
don't want. That's often the thing, is they
Yes.
focus so
Yeah.
much on what they don't want. It's like, what do you want?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's also a way to go. Not It's so good to know what you don't want, right? It's the same with boyfriends or girlfriends, right? You know what you don't want, so you can get what you want. Yeah, totally.
No, I love
So
that.
that's,
I know
yeah,
it was a good one. Hey, it sold out in a week, I think.
yeah, yeah. It was, I think, just everything came together, right? Like, yeah, I don't know how it happened, but you just feel when everything comes together and you're really doing something that you really want to do. And that's what I do now, the transformation nest. And I'm so excited that I coached 10 women now for 3 months, and I already have like a full waiting list for the next round. It's like,
Wow.
it's so awesome. Like, seriously, to break free from everything. I call it breaking free from this cage, right?
Mm,
Because I realized that even I was accepting a certain cage, even though I was living always the life I really wanted, the country I wanted, the job I wanted. Still, I was accepting certain cages, maybe from my dad, who was a lawyer, maybe still from my lawyer friends, maybe still from old friends from university. Sometimes it's scared to change because other people want to keep you the same, right? So,
mm.
yeah,
Yeah, because it shows them where they're not growing. It's a big
totally. Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, so it's a process for me as well. It's really awesome to be a transformation coach as well because it's so different from a negotiation coach. I'm also still learning how to. So I called two of my coaching friends to ask them, like, okay, how do I set boundaries as well for myself to be the best coach, right? Because I want to be a facilitator, and I don't want to cry when they cry, and I don't want to overdo it, or like I don't want to fix anyone,
mm,
because sometimes you have that as a coach, right? I'm going to fix you because I can fix you. Like, no way. But that's
yeah.
what sometimes you want that in the course. So it's a beautiful process for me as well.
You're just helping people see their blind spots, and they from that experience they find the way themselves. And I think it's also a big part of us as coaches is like um that. I mean, for me, I know a big one in my life is overgiving, like that feeling of not being
Totally.
enough. So overgiving, and then sometimes having that resentment piece because I've just overgiven and not had boundaries. So that's definitely been something I've been working on, and yeah, definitely getting better. But it's hard when you love what you do and you just want to help so much. You want to help as many people as you can, but then you have to be really, I guess, the busier you get, and the more, I guess, people you get, you just really need to be discerning and like how much time and energy. And like for me, I was like, how can I offer something for free like the podcast, because I was doing a lot on social media and stuff, and I was like, oh, it kind of drains me all the time if I'm always having to put myself out there, which I do like, but I think at the beginning you have that more energy, and then as you start seeing more clients, you just don't have the time to always be sharing stuff unless you have like a personal assistant helping you, which I don't yet, but I'm sure I will soon. And then yeah, just like having the podcast now, I can share and connect with amazing people like you to share your wisdom and your journey, and hopefully, and I'm sure give some hope and inspiration to women out there that are struggling with their self-worth or with negotiating. Maybe you can share a little bit of maybe a tip or something you can share with the listeners that may struggle with negotiating their worth, or um, asking for what they need, not just in business, I guess, in all areas of life.
Yeah, that's a good question because, did you know that we negotiate like 3 to 7 times a day? All of us. You negotiate with your partner, you negotiate with your employee, maybe even with your clients. There are a lot of negotiations. People negotiate with their children, and children are really good at it. But the funny thing is that once we talk about money, it's sort of like it gets tough, especially for women. And I read like a really interesting article, and that was about the Dutch, but it's also funny. It's about the Dutch and Americans. And they said that in the Netherlands, people rather talk about sex than about money. Like, wow, that's an issue, right? But I was also living in North America, and that's the other way around.
Yeah,
People say, what are you making? But whoa, talk about sex?
yeah.
Oh no, we're not going to talk about sex. Like, so it's something, it has to do with money as well, the whole taboo around money. And I think we have to create more transparency around it. But the best thing to do if you're not sure what is your worth, start to do your research. Like what I said, grab that piece of paper and write down what you've been doing, but also do like market value research. And if you are an employee, for example, there's a really good website, and it's called payskill.com. And it's a database with 40 million profiles worldwide, where
Wow.
you can see based on their skills, responsibilities, their degree, the company they're in, is it big, small, is an NGO. Like, you see a certain peer group, and it says, for example, okay, if with your qualities, this is your average market value. And that's a spot where you can, I don't know, it's your starting point, and you have something to really grasp, right? Because your employer can only say to you, okay, well, this is your market value, but we don't have the money. Okay, that's a valuable argument, but do you want to work somewhere where they don't value you yourself, right? And if you are an freelancer and an entrepreneur, I think it's really good. Maybe if you just start out, it's always tough to, come up with prices, right? I always say, don't make it too big for yourself.
Mm.
Go out there, take small steps. Maybe you want to launch an online course. Just do it small. You know what I did? I created an online Instagram course. Seriously, it was 17 euros. 17 euros. It was like a 5-day negotiation course. I think 50 or 100 people bought it. They
Wow.
had feedback. I implemented that. I created an ebook out of that. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do another round. And then I doubled the price. And I said, okay, 37 euros. And then again, like that same amount of people bought it. And I took in the feedback, made it better, and doubled the price to 99 euros. And it was still on Instagram. And now I know that people are buying the course. I have feedback and I know it's good. So I know my prices can go up. So
Mm.
that's always a really great idea to start playing with your prices. You can start small, but be really clear about why the price is low, why it's a pilot price.
Yeah.
And then double it, get the feedback, make it better. As long as you have happy clients and enough clients, you can hire your prices. So it's just testing.
Yeah.
And we have to start doing it. Don't make it too big for yourself, because we have a lot of things like, oh, but I don't have the right camera, I don't have the right corner to create a video. We have so many but
Yeah.
it's just all limitations to not start. So that's the same with negotiating about money. Just start with doing your research and just go for it and test it.
Or
Yeah,
book a session with Meryl. She'll help you.
totally. You know where to find me now. Yeah, totally.
Aw, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, and I really so great to have you on. And I'm sure I'll have you on another stage, and we can talk about some other things. But is there anything else you'd like to share? Or is there any offerings that you would like to promote? I know what you. I think you work with English client, like English speaking as well, like, or is it just in Holland?
No, it's both. So it's bilingual, duolingual, or like, okay, let's say it's Dutch and English. I don't know the right word, but
Yeah.
I do it in Dutch and English. And what I do now mainly is just one-on-one coaching or programs.
Mm.
But I am about to launch a new online course. And this time it's going to be way more, not expensive, but it's going to be a bigger investment, which means you should say investment because you will earn it back instead of what's the price. No, what's my investment?
Yes,
Um,
I learned that one.
so that will be on soon, but yeah, I'm doing a lot of things. So just keep an eye on my website. And if you have any questions, send me a DM. I don't have any current things going on because it's all full, but I'm really excited. You can always send me a DM.
Oh yeah, and she posts really cool stuff. I love reading your posts and
Thank
really,
you.
I think it was so cool about you sharing about you having Botox, and I think so many women, would feel like ashamed to share it, and I think it's so amazing that you can be open about it and just be like, this is me, this is what I feel, and I think, and
Yeah.
I was like, go girl.
Thanks. Yeah, you know what's funny? Like the whole Instagram thing, it's also a platform to get rid of all your fears, right? Everything I'm scared of, I'm just overcoming it by doing it. And like having Botox or like doing Botox, I was like, okay, everyone is doing it. No one talks about it. And I want to be really honest and authentic and open. And I don't use any filters on Instagram, but then I do Botox. So I had this whole mind fuck going on. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to share it with the world. And to be honest, I received really nice DMs and stuff. In the end, I just got to be me because I all had these limiting beliefs like you cannot be spiritual or love yourself when you do this. And
Oh, yeah.
well, it's a whole process. And I just,
Mm.
when I find something scary, it's just so beautiful by sharing it with the world and then see that we're just all one and we have the same fears and no one is ahead or behind, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So thanks.
I love that. No, I really appreciate that, and I think I haven't yet had it, but I'm definitely open to it. Like for me, I mean, I'm 27, so maybe like around 30 when I get a little bit more wrinkly. I don't know, but I definitely feel like I know a lot of people have had it, and I've had like my eyebrows tattooed ages ago, and I really like that. It was actually really, I've had like IPL, which is obviously like all your hair
Yeah.
removed, which I don't know the complications if there's any side effects or anything, but I really believe about living in the moment. And also the mind is so powerful. Like if we're just doing it and want to do it to make us feel better, then I think why not? It's better than us feel better and feeling really good about ourselves than freaking moaning and feeling really shame and feeling this like unhealthy emotion because we don't like our aesthetic look. So I'm all for empowerment and just doing whatever lights you up. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. I really honor that.
Thank you. And thanks for having me on the podcast. I love this podcast. It's so open and honest and authentic. So yeah,
Aww,
keep doing what you're doing.
thank you, my love.
And I hope to see you soon in Bali or in Amsterdam. Seriously.
Yes, I will. I think George and I are going to be coming to Amsterdam. His brother is having a baby, so we're definitely going to be. A lot of his friends are having babies soon, so we're probably gonna come around. I don't know, May or something, depending on the Corona situation.
Oh, yeah. Well, I
But
would love to see you.
yeah, you too. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Meryl. Sending you lots of love.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. If you want to connect with us, my Instagram is @BriarRoots, @the Dharma Journey. Please feel free to send us your favorite episode, and we'd love to hear your feedback. If you want to reach and connect with me further, I offer weekly women circles every Sunday. Also, Ayurvedic healing programs, consultations. So all of my details are at the bottom. Thank you so much for listening. This is really a part of the Dharma Journey movement to bring us closer together, connection, community, collaboration, and really inspire one another on our path towards liberation. Thank you so much for listening. Have an incredible day. I hope.